This is Mr. Westbrooks, educator, astronumerologist, and co-host of Unread Book Review with Nick and Rue. Let me put y'all up on this new ebook series that's here to educate our people of all ages, especially the youth, about our collective power, both historically, presently, and beyond. Voices of the Diaspora, written by Knowledge Born Allah, is unique in that it takes the traditional e-reading experience and infuses it with audio recordings, revolutionary songs, and revolutionary music videos. Some of the topics include stories about Black entrepreneurs, stories about Black women who have shaped our world, and stories of Black innovators who've impacted the field of STEAM, plus much more. If you want to know more about this series and what it has to offer, check out our Unread episode featuring Knowledge Born Allah, who was also the founder and host of Do the Knowledge Radio. After the interview, go log on to dotheknowledgeradio.com so you can get your copy of Voices of the Diaspora so that you, your family, your community, and your world can be inspired by the stories of visionaries shaping our future and honoring our past. Thank you in advance for your support and continue striving to be the best version of yourself. Peace.
Yo, super Casanova, super cat promoter, lion no fire glow, super karaoke. This is poetic dopamine, better than Coca-Cola. I'm dopamine, open stream. I be choking cobra, snake charmer, brain macabre, ancient wait karma, see the Rams day. In this diaphragm, diorama, diurnal herbalist, moving diagram, watching my vision is panoramic with it. It's botanic, flower child, showered in clouds, my soul expanded. Life is a design, why didn't you know the planet? Polish orcs knowledge, my wisdom will coat the planet. I get it, I'm so demanding, supply, get it. Cut the wire, run traditional umbilical cord inside the cipher as a baby. Grab the mic instead of a pacifier. Melody appetizer. Beware buyer, this is some rare fire. Sit in a chair higher, giving a spare tire. You're on your last lap like a stripper that just for tiger. Now I mean my queen seem to be sweeter than a papaya. I move far away from ninjas to wear blinders. Gold color contacts, solar power guard rap. No one can doubt that I'm that lyrical exerciser, spiritual advisor, and I'm the kind of man that miracles admire. Minerals are minor. I majored in all required to complete the grand arcanum. Leaping the phantom quantum, Phoenician, the fire blossom. Come reach for this high doctrine. Mayan shaman, mind boggling. Reach to the time I'm all the skin mocking. Since forgotten sins, common men, nature, nigga, time sovereigns. Making bullet points, lacking freedom is a problem. Carry extra magazines like they speaking in your column. I came from the center, never started from the bottom. Got your children in school, being smart is an option. Rhyme book, encyclopedias is written in the margins. Listen in the Marvin. Sexual healing, my medicine is revealing that the stars in the sky got ancestors in the ceiling. Moods of Allah in my hand gestures. Zodiac gang signs, it's the grand netta. Time slipping through our fingers, bit of sand texture. Chandelier in the ceiling full of ancestors. Moods of Allah in my hand gestures. Zodiac gang signs, it's the grand netta. Chandelier in the sky full of ancestors. Show you clear, maybe you can understand better. Yes. Zodiac lay shower me. Spirits from above, those who passed away flower me. A lost intelligence, I made out when they encountered me. Effortlessly write a new verse before you count to three. With a sound to see, a sight to hear, the taste of beauty. My ancestors in the sky told me make a movie. It's the mega Sufi, serve them like a mega Sufi. The grand Vegas open bars, I can make the zoo free. I'm giving season passes to the secret passage. Not a tunnel, but a chapter unreleased status. Slow gases, mine ain't fast enough to beat molasses. Midget at a strip club, arms ain't long enough to reach the masses. See the phoenix resurrected if you read the ashes. Cross me, you'll be seeing axes. Reenactors needed atlas like IG tags. Meet me at the Atlas, put a train bloodshot eyes from drinking out your reading glasses. Zodiac's name, crack your brain, rapping slain, master pain. I make hits, they making Cassius claims older than Apostle Luke age. Smoke pop with Luke Cage, the books master Mussolini Galactica. Houdini couldn't see me with a crystal ball, eagle regal seeking all lies. eyes to plot a dream for y'all. I push past the vision y'all look after. Clear while I'm the finisher here like wood lacquer. Shooting star comedy type like good laughter. Heavy still like a waiter when I walk on with toast. God's called me on the tower here, I'm talking with ghosts. Like sun rays in the seance, I slice like a radiant. Zodiac real estate, kingdom of the avians. He's up above us, they thinking that I'm Canadian. KZ the chosen A-bomb, I wrote the A song. Magician that can open they palm, exploded napalm. King Kami high, exploding A-palm with granite countertop. All the wishes in my palm are granted. Megalodon, Megatron, and stretching my mind tight. Tap the splitter, subtly I'm Gregory hindsight. Moods of Allah in my hand gestures. Zodiac gang signs, it's the grand netter. Time slipping through my fingers, bit of sand texture. Chandelier in the ceiling full of ancestors. Moods of Allah in my hand gestures. Zodiac gang signs, it's the grand netter. Chandelier in the sky full of ancestors. Show you clear, maybe you can understand better.
Yeah. Peace and blessings, peace and black power, family. Welcome to another episode of Knowledge Radio. Place for Knowledge and Phone. It's your host, Knowledge on the line. Here with a special guest by special request. We ain't seen her in a minute, okay? We ain't seen her in a minute. You know, she don't love us no more over here. She don't love us no more over here. No, I'm joking. Uh, I love this month right here in particular. I love all of the months because I do the same thing every day. And But I love this month in particular because I get to set aside some time in my schedule, in my programming schedule, and in my life to throw up the supplication, to throw up the glorifications, the props, the love, and the celebration and the elevation of the black woman. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm here to honor this black woman, this Queen Mother month. So I get to honor all my Queen mothers. Okay, all my Queen mothers, all of the Queen mothers. Okay, so we definitely got a Queen Mother here who put in the time, the effort, the energy, the sacrifices that come along with bringing life into existence and making life better by their existence. So we got a cultivator, we got a motivator, we got a wife, we got a mother, we got a teacher, we got a healer, we got a priestess, we got a songstress, we got a lyricist. We just got a better life maker. You know what I'm saying? The black family advocate, the black mother advocate, the black father advocate, the black baby advocate, the black future advocate is here, all in one. Okay, with her new voice. Okay, she here with her new voice, but she got the new. Okay, she got the new. So it becomes my honor and privilege at this time to introduce some, present to others. I honor you for this interview. Our Queen Mother, Empress Eshe Obasi. Is it?
Man, big bro, I got to tell you this, man. Your intros is always on point.
Hey, hey,
I
hey,
appreciate being able to come back on the show so much. I would never turn down an opportunity if I'm able to.
hey. Glad to have you. Glad to have you. I want to thank you first before I get into any kind of other thing, okay? Because we got some things to get into, right? Y'all seen the post. Had it up in here today, okay? Because we about to go through some shenanigy, okay?
Come on now.
But I, but I want to thank you uh, for who you are first. For who you are first, who you were born to be, and you operating on your destiny trajectory. And that destiny trajectory connected us together based off the work that we're doing, right? So, who you are,
Sure.
who you were, who you are becoming, and the gifts and talents and skills that you bring to the world. The universe is better because you are here in it in this particular dispensation of time, being who you are. in becoming who you will be in the future. So I want to thank you.
Wow, I'm so grateful, so honored. Thank you so much. Wow,
Hey, we in the building today, okay?
we in the building.
Celebrating our queen mothers, okay? Before we get into the shenanigans, can you share the responsibility, some of them in part, uh, the responsibility of wearing that duty, responsibility, that title of queen mother?
Well, I would say this before anything else. You're born with that responsibility. That responsibility only greatens once you step into the role of wife, of mother, of, sister, of teacher, of mentor, and those things only greaten throughout your life. But the first responsibility that you're given is as a woman, and specifically as a Black woman, because not only do we bear the things that we go through in our lives, but we bear the things that our ancestral mothers went through in their lives as well, because we got a hell of a bloodline. And that means the good, the bad, and the ugly, which means that all of the things that come with that, all of the blood violence and all of those things, but also all of the generational curses that we have to heal and that we're responsible for healing in our lives, and that we have the ability to be able to heal, because some of our women have left this earth without being able to crack open a lot of those codes, and without being able to deal with a lot of those pains and a lot of those issues. But we have the responsibility in our lives, if we can become aware of what we have to do as women, as the feminine principle, to be able to heal all of those things that come along with being a Black woman. Not just to sit in them and say, hey, well, I'm a Black woman, we got attitudes, you know what I'm saying, we got problems, oh well, you know what I'm saying? But how do we dig into those things that we have, those ailments? How do we dig into those pains and trauma to be able to make sure we're not passing down dirty baggage to the next generation? And I think before anything else, before you step into the role of being a mother, a queen mother, a wife, you have to have the responsibility as a Black woman to want to heal a lot of those generational curses that we have. So before anything else, and then once you step into the role of a mother, you're more responsible, because now you get the opportunity to not pass these ailments and traumas down to your children. Once you become a wife, you have the opportunity to not drag baggage from the past relationships into this one, to be able to heal the connection between masculine and feminine. You now have a greater obligation and responsibility. Once you become a teacher, whether you want to be a teacher of young girls because you want to help them heal from what they went through, or if you want to be a teacher, a healer, and all of these different things, you now are more responsible, because now you're in a position where somebody's looking up to you. And so, as it relates to that responsibility, is something that I do not take lightly, and something that I put all of my energy into trying to make sure that I take seriously with every breath I take and every step that I take, because with that being the case, I know that I was born with this responsibility and I have the option to do something with it. Absolutely.
The bombs is in the building. Okay, I just wanted to get that established first before we get into the shenanology. Okay, there's
Absolutely.
responsibility, there's duty and responsibility. So yes, my new voice. You've been delving deeply into the psychology of what I call shenanology and shenanarisms. Okay,
I think I might take that with me and use that. I like that title.
it's yours. It is yours. Okay, I got it from your reporting on it, and might I say you do it eloquently, you do it thoroughly, and you do it in a manner that's unbiased. You know, you look at the situation for what it is, and you give your analysis, you give your report on it. I think you do such an amazing job.
Yeah. It's very important to me that I remain unbiased because I feel like so many people are posting from their opinion rather than providing the information.
Mm.
So that's number one. I definitely try my best to do that. But however, I do have opinions at times. I do have things to add to it at times. So as far as unbiased, I would say that I try to be as fair as possible when looking at things, because even when I have my opinion, I still have an idea and understanding of the other side of it in order to say, I understand why they might feel this way, or I understand why they might have said this. Um, but everything on the internet is so opinion based. So anytime I'm covering something, or I'm analyzing something or putting the analogy up, it's one of those things where I am going to also talk about the opinions that I've been seeing, one side and the other, because I think sometimes that gives us an idea of the societal understanding of how something happened, or at least the social media reflection of that. You know what I'm saying? So we can kind of get a picture. So not only am I providing that, but I'm providing the data of social media, right? Also, I try to also, though, side by side with that, because that's the data based on what people think, right? But I like to add that just based upon what I've been seeing, what are people saying, right? But I also like to go in and look at some of the facts as well. So I might include the news story in the actual thing that happened, or I might go in and look up the articles and put that information in there as well, because I always want to make sure that I'm being 100 in anything that I'm putting up.
That is definitely real right there. Okay? Balancing the scales, okay?
Yeah.
Balancing the
I am a
scales, right?
Libra, so you know what I'm saying? The
Hey,
scales is
hey,
important. You know what
hey.
I'm saying?
That's what it is. So let's get into some of these shenanigans.
All right, let's dig into the shenanology.
The shenanigans is going on. The situation with Dr. Umar and his daughter, and the
Hmm.
debauchery of public persona versus reality. Your
Okay.
take on it. Your take on it from whatever vantage point you want to look at.
So from the beginning, I'm always very cautious as it relates to somebody hopping on social media and just kind of crashing and burning out and telling their story and getting very emotional and everything like that. I'm always very cautious to just automatically believe what they're saying. I'm not trying to discredit the young lady, because there's always a possibility that something can be true. Um, so let me just say that first, because I know that people have taken my opinion as me saying, "Oh, you just don't believe her and everything." It's not that I don't believe that she feels that way. I think that as far as her making the statement, as far as not trying to bash him or bash his character, I don't think that she, number one, either she did it on purpose, or number two, she didn't think it all the way through. Neither one of them are good. Um, so I was very cautious when I first heard the story. I know a lot of people just jumped on the whole, oh, he's a deadbeat dad. And I didn't just automatically believe that necessarily. I mean, because I know so many men who have situations where you don't know the full story and you don't know what goes on, you know what I'm saying? That maybe even the child doesn't know about. So I was very cautious to just jump on that bandwagon right away, right? But I also didn't close the door to the fact that there could be truth to it. Because number one, even if I admire somebody, I don't idolize anybody to the extent to where I don't believe that they could do something wrong. You know what I'm saying? So I have been in support of Umar Johnson and some of the things that he has done and some of his teachings. However, I don't ever believe that somebody's just so godlike that they couldn't possibly do anything wrong. You know what I'm saying? So I was kind of looking at it more like, we'll see, cautiously. Um, that was number one from the beginning of it. And I saw his response, right? Now, you could also see the emotion in his response, that there was a lot behind that story and everything, right? However, I feel like he could have handled it better as far as kind of containing the situation. You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand he got amped up because of his own feelings, but it was kind of like, you know, maybe we could have handled this a little bit, to de-escalate it rather than kind of turning it into this, right? Um, but when he offered the young lady to meet up with her and her mother, and she kind of like, why would he say this to me or whatever? She kind of felt the way about it. That was when it started getting confusing because it was like, okay, well, was that not what you wanted? Didn't you say that you wanted to talk to him? There was messages coming out showing that she did in fact contact him and he did respond back. So it was kind of like stuff started getting a little confusing when you started seeing some of her responses. Then you started seeing her make videos where she was like, oh yeah, they gonna have to pay me for interviews and stuff like that. And it was kind of like, now what's this really about though? Because now you're kind of taking validity away from what you were saying as far as this is really just about me wanting to find my sister, and now you're turning this into kind of a circus show. So looking at it like that and still kind of trying to look at it objectively, I was kind of like, okay, waiting to kind of hear some more information on it. The last video that I did see, Umar Johnson made a video, and he's never shied away from the fact that this was his daughter. And he's also said, I have paperwork proof and I'm willing to show it. Um, and he has said, as it relates to the mother, since you have let her make all these videos and all this stuff, you got anything you want to say? You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, at this point, to be honest with you, I have more so reserved judgment, only like a final judgment as far as to say who's right and who's wrong, because there was a lot of information in this whole thing. But the analogy that I can give is that, number one, I feel like his daughter went about things the wrong way. I feel like she went about things in a way that did make it seem like she was clout chasing and didn't make it seem like it was just about a daughter trying to speak to her father. She did make it kind of seem like she was clout chasing. I felt like Dr. Umar did kind of capitalize off of it a little bit, and I felt like he could have contained the situation a little bit better. I do feel like both of them had emotions in this whole thing. His daughter, from maybe even what she had been told, maybe because she didn't know the whole story, she probably did have frustrations. And then he probably had his frustrations because of, some things that may have happened all those years ago when she was born and all of this stuff. So there was so much to the story. And I'm never just going to come out and call somebody a deadbeat dad, because I know there's always so much more to the situation. Um, but I would never say that somebody is incapable of doing something wrong.
Whew.
Yeah.
Let me get this bomb together. I gotta load it up because this is a big one. Load it up.
uh-uh. Uh-uh-uh.
Being out there in the public, if you can deal with the quote unquote blessings, you can deal with the curses. Right? When you're out there, I think politics does it the best, and I think battle rap does it the best. You understand what I'm saying? Like they come out there with your personal information and blah 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 and all this other stuff. So
Right.
if you out there in the public, they're gonna try their best to do this mudslinging campaign, right?
Yeah, and
So
you kind of have to know that that's what's going to end up happening, is that something that you might want to keep private in your life could become very public because people are always looking for something.
right, and sensationalism, right? This thing is no longer about the people, right? One of the things that he repeated, peace blessed be upon him, said, the celebrity, there's no celebrity in revolution, and he also was he said out his own mouth one of the things that he regretted was giving Eldridge Cleaver a platform So it was
Mm,
at the detriment of the party. The entire party was relegated to whatever this guy said. You understand what I'm saying? And we know what kind of man he was if you do your own research. So when you're out there in the public, I think the father and the daughter, they in the public. You see what I'm
yeah,
saying? So addressing things in the private because she shared what he said to her privately in the public, not in
yeah, that's
private.
true. That's true.
You see what I'm saying? She said it in public like he would say it in public. So you kind of looking at a mirror, even if y'all are estranged. You're looking at yourself. You see what I'm saying? Your younger self right there. It's your mirror. You're looking at your own reflection. So
Man,
you were there in your 20s. This is how you would handle a situation in your 20s versus where you are now. And you didn't handle it much different in your now. You understand what I'm
yeah,
saying? So did you really? So again, the spectacle, the public persona, I'm turning this into content. You're about to be content. So I'm going to approach it like I approach everything else because everything in his life is public. The situation with the school, he's on all of these shows and his stance about black women and black men, not interracially. You understand what I'm saying? Like all of these things that are there, they all become sensationalized and turn it into content. So people invite him on to try to trip him up, to try to ambush him, all kinds of things. Right?
hmm,
That's their goal, and they're looking for something that he say for a viral clip. So it's not even really him; it's just capitalizing off of him. So he understands that going into a lot of these places.
it's
So
true.
this instance in this manner becomes no different. The the thing that becomes problematic is black families are viewed not at the best of us, but at the worst of us by design. We know why by
It's
design.
true.
But our people are not really clear on why by design. You see what I'm saying? So this is just supposed to be all that's funny. This is jokes. So we're gonna make some memes. And, everybody and their mama gonna talk about it on their
Yeah,
platforms, and that's gonna be that. Like no, they don't see this as an isolated incident amongst black people. They say this is black people. The world sees this as this is
exactly.
black people. This is black families. This black man. This is black men. This young girl. This is black girls. You understand what I'm saying? Or black children,
It's the
indiscriminate
truth.
because they don't discriminate in between. So your thoughts from the implications and the impact of seeing such a thing in the public view in this kind of way.
Absolutely.
So what do you think about the implications and the impact of seeing something like this outside of our culture, outside of our people? The onlookers looking at that, like, what are your thoughts?
Um, I don't think that they would look at it any differently than what they look at a situation of somebody that doesn't have all of this, status and everything like that. I think they look at it like, see, you know what I'm saying? This is what we always talking about. And I think that it's a situation of, you know, really something that is being perpetuated that was an easy blow. You know what I'm saying? It's one of the things that's easier to try to pin a black man with. If you know that he got children, okay, well, let's go find his children. Let's go find his baby mamas, and you know what I'm saying. Something be stirred up for that's kind of like one of the easier things to hit him with. Even if you're the baby mama, or even if you're the child, I know what I can hit him with. You know what I'm saying? So as far as people from the outside looking in, as far as other races of people looking in at black people, if they was to be looking at this, they would probably say, oh, okay, well, that's what we always say anyway. We already know that that's how they are. We already know, you know what I'm saying, that that's going to be the case. So I don't think they would look at it any differently if it was anybody else besides him.
Definitely a bar. So we at this impasse, black men, black children. Now the the shenanigans going on associated with the skits and all of these comedy things, relegating black children as YNs. I don't know if you talked about it yet or you got into it or whatever the case may be. So if this is your first time talking about it and you want to save it for your platform, okay. But I definitely want to hear your thoughts on our
Okay.
children in some cases, our grandchildren being identified as simply YNs.
Um, from what I understand, there's a whole age scale or whatever. Um, the next after that, big sis, big bro. The next after that, auntie, uncle. The next after that, then you consider the OG and everything like that. So from what I understand, the whole YN thing is a part of that scale, like in a specific age group. How I look at it is another continuation of how our people have used the N word in general. Something that has been normalized, something that has been, you know, um, made into something that's okay, something that's been made into something that's acceptable. And I think this is really just a continuation of that. I feel like really it's the OG's fault because at the end of the day, nobody put a stop to it at those time periods. So then it's kind of like, why I can sit up and complain now when they make an acronym out of it? You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, it's really a continuation of what's been going on. So, as it relates to that, as it relates to this being the relegation of our youth, I think that anybody who has a problem with it should then have stopped it in the beginning of it, should have stopped it at whatever point in time that it came through their understanding. Because the thing is that the responsibility, hello, once you get to the point where you're aware of it and you continue to allow it to be okay around you, you continue to allow it to be just something that's, oh, that's just what we call each other. Now the young people are saying, okay, well, we a YN or whatever. Now it's kind of like, shut up. Because at the end of the day, if you have the responsibility to solve something, to fix something, to create a difference in something, and you don't, then the fruits of that is what it is.
Gee, okay. You call Queen Mother on a good day. Okay, she ain't playing no games today. I ain't.
I ain't playing no games.
Yeah, I understand that there is a culture of degeneracy that gets passed from one generation to the next, to the next, to the next. So if you grew up in that environment and you heard this N word all day, every day, and with the docu series that I'm working on and with the book, that's one of the questions. How old were you when you first heard the N word or the V word? Because it's the N word and the V word. You see what I'm saying? Uh, I shared a video on Instagram with this ancestor, rest in peace to him, talking to some women that was a part of a documentary type of interview that they did for him in regards to what he has to deal with as a waiter and a server in 1966. So he's in Greenwood, Mississippi, 1966, at his place of business, and they came in and they interviewed him, and they were just a party to it. Um, he's talking about what he has to endure in order for his children to have a better life. So he's in there. It's 1966. This ain't 1866. This ain't
Right.
1766. This is 1966. Okay? 49 years ago. He's in there and he's like, you got to go over there and, they calling you the N word. He actually, he said, he mimicked them talking to him. Oh, don't give that N word no tip. He ain't here for no tip, blah, blah, blah. Oh, don't talk to him like that. Oh, that's my N word. He's a good one. So these are the things that he's enduring in the place day in and day out, and he has to smile, and he has to, you know, stop himself from responding emotionally, or in whatever case that he's in, the state of mind and being that he's in. perpetually over and over. He's like, I didn't get an education, so I want my children to get an education so they don't have to deal with this right here. So he's subjecting himself in this environment on a daily basis to be
Hmm.
able to have better for his children. And he said my N word, and you go all the way back to the plantation. Your plantation owner said my N word. Now today, the endearing term is my N word. You understand what I'm saying? Like so,
Hmm.
my N word to my YNs. These are my YNs. You understand what I'm saying? Like out of everything that you could take, they even struggling back and forth. They tell us, oh, uh, slavery happened in reverse and all this other stuff that they coming up with, right? You could say all of these things, but the plantation language, you're still exemplifying, okay? You're still exemplifying it. And, they give me the etymology and they go back, blah, blah, blah. Like I ain't heard it for the last 30 years, okay?
Right.
You can give me the etymology and all of the justifications and why it's endearing until you run up on this N word in broad daylight and unalive them in front of their loved ones with no regard for their life.
Wow.
The same way the Klan would do, the same way they did with young Emmett Till, the same way they did with Timmy Rice. They have no regard for our life.
It's the
You
truth.
understand? So this word in this society is relegated and energized and motivated around uh, not repeating life or not even expecting anything from that life other than servitude in one form or another, whether that's prison, whether that's, some of these mental institutions or what have you. There's nothing of worth of value coming from that being associated with it. They're not running around calling these cave dogs young Nazis, but they're
Mm.
okay with calling, our children and our grandchildren. Back to what you were saying about the OGs, these OGs have normalized speaking death over our children, and nobody's calling any of these things into account. They just make jokes about it, and then they popularize it out all over the world. So the world sees us as not who we are, but what we refer to ourselves as, in addition to what they do in that space. So,
That's
I
true.
wanted to get your thoughts, on the whole thing because this is this new thing, and every time you see something that's supposed to be, oh, it's this or it's this, oh, uh, these YNs and blah blah blah, whatever. Even in our community, amongst those who's supposed to have been enlightened, all of it is still there. It's still visceral. It's still said with the same veracity, if not more, than our enemy. So we mean it the same way. You
Yeah.
understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Despite the the shea butter that we put on it, or the sage that we put on it. You understand what I'm saying? We mean it in the same way. As soon as there's a violation, you know what I mean. So it's
Absolutely.
pretty bugged out. Uh,
Well, I feel like a lot of the times, you know, we can say that the issue is the white man and everything like that, but what's interesting about it is they don't ever have to set foot in our communities. Really, they have set it up to where the work is being done for them. So at the end of the day, you don't see, you know what I'm saying, outside of police brutality, you don't see the Ku Klux Klan come into our neighborhoods with their guns and come shooting up mass people and all of that stuff. That's not the face that you see. um you know what I'm saying, you don't see a actual white person coming in and separating black families and everything like that. You don't see their faces. You don't have to see their faces because we do the work for them. So as it relates to the whole concept of what we call each other and everything like that, they don't even have to call us that anymore because we do the work for them. You know what I'm saying? They don't have to sexualize black women anymore because black women sexualize themselves now. So all of these things are set up to where, we do the work for them. They don't have to come in and do the work or show their faces or make themselves look like the bad guy no more. Absolutely.
all right. So recently, I'm sure you're gonna get to it if you didn't get to it already. The Queen Dawn from In Vogue. I know you've been seeing, some of those things going on in regards to her saying she was homeless and she's been living in a car for the last 3 years, and
Hmm.
it's some mixed reviews. So I wanted to hear your thoughts because there's a contrast in between. But I'll let you answer first, and then I'll share.
Okay, well, tell me a little bit more about it. I haven't really heard a lot about that.
Well, there's a snippet of an interview. We don't know if this is an interview or just her being live, sharing things with people, talking about her being homeless and living in her car. So she's been living in her car for the last 3 years, and it's a kind of split thing where people are blaming her, and then other people are blaming the industry, whatever the case may be. Like it's a whole, like when anything else comes out, there's a
Hmm.
this side to that side, and all of those things. So, from what I got from what she said was she's a minimalist. She's a minimalist, and she looked into some of these people. They're living in RVs, they're living in vans, they're living in their cars. It's like a whole movement. It's hundreds of thousands of people that are doing it. You know,
So she's not necessarily doing it out of necessity.
yeah.
She's doing it as a choice.
From what I gathered. But
Okay.
where the people are taking it, they it's just knee jerk, like off the rip, like yo, this is messed up, blah blah blah. Wait, ain't it Vogue on tour? What they doing and blah blah blah. So there are a bunch of different platforms that are running with it, and just these are the things that become news nowadays. So just your thoughts on like this knee jerk response that's out there, and your thoughts, period.
So let me ask you this. So people are blaming the industry by saying that what she's not getting paid enough to have a house or anything like that.
Well, I think similar to like the Andy Stone situation, rest
Okay.
in peace to her. They stole a lot and never paid her for a lot of songs, blah blah blah. And I think she named her as well. Andy did. So there's you know
Hmm.
those things that are happening on one front, and then on the other fronts, they're like, oh, she need to go back on tour, or oh, she need to just go get a
Got
job, blah blah
you.
blah. All of those things
I get
that
you.
are out there.
Okay. Well, I want to first say this as it relates to the industry aspect of things. The one thing that Black people have to realize is that the situation with labels and them not treating artists correctly and them kind of siphoning money off of artists and different stuff like that is not new. As a matter of fact, this goes back to the 50s and 60s with the Temptations and all of this different type of stuff. Um, so you want to look at these artists, who are now coming out and saying my label isn't paying me and everything like that. And it's kind of like when you enter into that industry, you have to know that there's going to be some of these, you know what I'm saying, money being exchanged through dirty hands. Even somebody you thought you could trust was, you know what I'm saying, siphoning money from you and everything like that. Um, as far as everybody saying, she needs to get a job and everything like that. Well, unless she's asking you for help, leave her alone. She want to live in her car. What you want her to do? Mind your business. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of one of those things. I mean, my thing is this. I would have to look a little bit more into it to see if there's more context to it or anything like that. But I don't really understand people getting riled up or whatever about the fact that she's living in her car. She's considers herself a minimalist. Um, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of one of those things where it's like it's something that shouldn't bother people so much. But I also know that people have a need to respond to people's lives and a need to respond to people's situations. So that doesn't surprise me at all. But
Yeah, people
absolutely.
really live it out here about certain things.
That's
Uh,
right. Exactly.
my docu series and book does the hip hop industry or Black people reparations. You
Hmm.
know, addresses it from the hip hop. perspective. I didn't even go after the entire entertainment industry because
Right.
we know it's old as day. So if we could look at a subsection of the entertainment industry critically, not emotionally, critically, and be able to present some things in regards to that would be useful in a court case situation. So taking people through that, and there's some folks that's like, no, and, so there's some people like, yeah. So how would you prove yeah, and how would you prove no? And then the ones who said no, how would you prove yeah? And the ones who said yeah, how would you prove no?
I think it's time for
So
people to be a little bit more educated coming into these situations. You know what
right.
I'm saying? Educating yourself is everything. So before you just say, "Oh yeah, I'm excited to sign something. I'm so excited to be famous." You know what I'm saying? To do a little bit more research on stuff, because there shouldn't be no way that we have this many artists coming to the surface after their careers and saying, "I wasn't getting paid." I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's no way Angie Stone should have been, you know what I'm saying? I'm not getting paid you know what I'm saying? All of this stuff out of all of the music that she was doing and everything like that. But that's why it's important to educate yourself, because a lot of these artists go into the industry, they don't have the proper education. They're depending on people to kind of understand all this stuff for me. I don't really feel like reading it. Just tell me where to sign. And then that's how they get screwed over.
Well, if you're 16, for instance, you're 16. Let's say you're Nas. Nas was 16.
Hmm.
If you're 50 and you don't know, you don't know.
So that's a little
You know?
bit. I feel like that's. I feel like that's a little bit different, but I do feel like everybody ain't 15 coming into the
If you're
industry.
50, if you're 50,
If you're 50,
if
okay.
you got a cell phone, right? I'm gonna pick up my cell phone for a second. I'm gonna put it back down. All right. If you got a cell phone, did you read the contract for your cell phone provider?
Hmm. Right.
You did, right? Did
Yeah.
you read the terms of service for Facebook, for Instagram, for TikTok, for all of these places that we're on, for YouTube? I don't think most of the people did. They just wanted to
Yeah.
be on YouTube. They just wanted to be whatever the
It's like,
partnerships are.
whatever, scroll
Oh, I
down,
need to
scroll
get
down, scroll
monetized.
down.
Right? Right. These are look. We're rationalized, conscious thinking folks, right? And we didn't read those terms of service. They're contracts, right?
Hmm.
Your home bill, your mortgage, your lease, whatever it is, whatever you are making payments on an installment, and what you're being paid for in installment, your job, right?
Hmm.
There's a contract involved. Most of the folks ain't reading it, and they're not taking it to their lawyers. Most folks ain't got no attorney. You understand?
No,
Like,
that's true.
so the situations that we find ourselves in that regard, where the reason why an attorney is even necessary. You understand what I'm saying? Because
That's true.
if they have
That's
you
true.
signing something, there's something that you could be culpable for. So when they find you in breach, they can levy sanction. You understand? So the thing with these things, they went and found this 16-year-old kid, right? Or child, kid, whatever, and they saw his talent. The people with no talent, these grown people saw these children with no talent, with all the talent, they have no talent, and said, "We'll pay you a tenth
Hmm.
for your."
Yeah.
And at every juncture in the road, we're looking to take away something. We own 90% of what you do, and we're going to pay you a 10, and we're going to get paid 1,000 times what it's worth, and we'll give you a 10. You see what I'm saying? So a tenth of what you're worth, a tenth of who you are, the tenth that's out there. They're doing that, right?
Right.
So now I own this into perpetuity, but in 30 years, you can uh, go through the situation, and whatever we say it's worth, you can pay it to own it. That's one instance, right? That's
Hmm.
one instance. So by the time this guy goes from 16 to 50, he's 34 years later, right? He just now may be in a position to be able to own something that he created at 16. After they've made this lion's share for 3.5 decades off of what he created. That's one person,
Absolutely.
right? That's
It's a
one
dirty business.
person. Right.
It's a
So
dirty
that's the
business.
game. So if you are in that game, I agree with you. You need to know and play the rules. And, I understand like you walking in the situation, but we walk in situations all the time blindly for the most of the time. It's like, because we want something. It's like, oh, I want this credit card so I can, oh, I need this car loan because I can't pay out of my money cash. These are all the things where all of the deals and the interest rates and all of these things, all of these loans that are in these places, these advances they give you on records for record deals, all of that, these are all loans, right? Student loans, whatever the game is, right? Uh, I agree wholeheartedly to know to the best ability and do your own research, do your due diligence. And
And I will also add to that I do agree with you saying as well, because side by side with that, there may be some stuff you don't even know you need to research. So I will add that in there too, and not just make it seem like a lot of people are just uneducated, because sometimes you may not even know, what you need to look up and stuff like that too. So I agree with that as well.
so yeah, the shenanery is out there. They're being real shenanish. Okay. Uh,
Shenanish. Oh my God.
uh, I think we went through enough shenanology, shenanery, and shenanism.
I got one
And
more.
what's one more? Go ahead.
I got one more, and I'm gonna say this: I cannot scroll down my timeline without seeing this one. This is just one that I've seen that is the most popularized right now. Tiana Taylor and Iman Shumpert, they had been
Ooh.
married for a while, and this is one of the big ones because they're finally getting a divorce and everything.
Mm,
Um, and from what I'm understanding, she's like basically she took him to the cleaners in this divorce.
mm,
And he's paying child support. So like, on top of everything else. So there's a lot of split opinions as it related to this, because of course all of the men are like, dang, did she have to get all of that, take everything and everything? And all the women are like, I'm so glad she is, of course. Um, and so from what I'm seeing, you know what I'm saying, it's one of those things where, you know, it is very it's very much so an indicator, right? Because from what I understand, there was other stuff involved in their relationship. There was infidelity, which, you know what I'm saying, all kind of stuff as well, right?
mm,
However, I have to look at this in a greater scheme of things, and I have to also look at it by saying, wow, this is really a reflection of a lot of the stuff that goes on between black men and black women specifically, whether it's
mm,
through divorce, whether it's through co-parenting and that not turning out so great or anything like that. um and by seeing the responses, what it's really shown me is just how much and just how vivid a lot of these issues are, because in looking at the response of the women, you know what I'm saying, and they're championing the not only the divorce but also him having to pay and all of these different type of things. It's showing the state of black women where they don't feel satisfied in leaving a relationship unless they're making the other person hurt.
mhm,
There's still a lack that they might feel inside themselves unless they enacted some sort of revenge. For instance, there's this whole thing as far as cheating back, and it's become this whole movement. Well, if he cheats, then I'm a cheat back. You know what I'm saying? But the fact that you would need to do that to feel fulfilled, because you want to make sure he hurts just as bad as you hurt. And I think that kind of goes inside of that same category. But then just looking at also the pain of black men and how they represent their trauma as well, because they are feeling very slighted by the whole thing and feeling like, why should he have to give anything, because, she make her own money. Well, why can't she just take care of herself? Then she make her own money, despite the fact that she has his children, everything like that. So just looking at it from both sides, not being biased necessarily to one side or the other, but seeing the ailments and the traumas in both sides through this macro situation, the microcosm, the macrocosm to the microcosm, of this issue of black men versus black women, so to speak. And so when I seen that, it was something that I just wanted to bring today to talk about real quick. So
Yeah, that's deep. Um, $8,000 a month, I believe,
yeah,
and
uh-huh.
private school and all of those things, right? These are arrangements, right? These are arrangements. These aren't like court ordered type of situation. I'm sure they went through mediation, and mediation goes upon them coming together to agree, right?
Hmm.
Or to avoid a long, drawn out type of situation. Contested versus uncontested. Uncontested is just you and the person, blah, blah, blah. There's no property, no this, no that, no this, no that, right? So you could go through that process and y'all agree on whatever the terms are, and it's an amicable split. Contested is you can contest anything, right?
Right.
So if you wanted one of her businesses or she wanted this or that, a contested situation could go on for years in the court.
Hmm.
Years. So they're both brands now. This is something that we have to take into account. They're both brands. They're not
Hmm.
people anymore.
Right.
And when you bring your affairs and deal with your affairs, no different than what we were talking about, Dr. Umar and his daughter,
When it's
in the
publicized,
public, you're
exactly.
in the public, you're in the public, you're in somebody else's courtroom deciding on the matter or some legalities, whatever the case may be. It's like uh, Marvel versus whatever MCU, for the ownership of Spider Man. That's what this is.
Exactly.
This isn't a marriage anymore, right? This
Right.
is okay. We own Spider Man. No, we own Spider Man. No, we about to fight about it. Blah blah blah. But we're gonna fight about it off the screen, behind closed doors, with some lawyers and get some mediation involved, and we're gonna come up with some terms that's amicable. Like, all right, based off this evidence, blah blah blah. We have more ownership than you, so Spider Man's ours. All right. So now MCU has to part ways, or Disney or whatever the case may be. Marvel versus Disney with Spider Man. All right, who owns Spider Man? Marvel says we own Spider Man. All right, we'll pay whatever, blah blah blah, and go about their way. So Disney don't own the rights to Spider Man. So now Spider Man is back in the movies. You understand what I'm saying? So
Right.
all of the Spider Mans come out, we're like, oh, this is a great movie. It's like, nah, we own the rights to the Spider Man, so we putting all of our Spider Mans in the movie, right? So in this situation, especially with children involved and all of
Yeah.
that. Real property, investments, things they built together, things that were separate before they came together. All of these things go into account. Nothing is off the table. So if you want to go through a lengthy couple-year process, going back and forth to court and paying these exorbitant fees because the people who are presiding over the matter, everybody in that space has to get paid.
Right.
Everybody.
Exactly.
So now we see the end result of mediation and we have an opinion based off of the end result of mediation, not the real facts, right? And if you ain't been through it, you don't know nothing about it. You understand what I'm saying? You
Hmm.
like, man, that's crazy. See, look, these black women, you just go there with it. You see these black women, boy, they be out there to get you. You understand what I'm saying? See, these black men, if they would do right, blah, 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 it wouldn't be no
Yeah.
situation. Like,
And nobody
you
knows
get
all of
caught
the inside
in
facts
the
of it.
shuffle, right? You, like, there shouldn't be no court system for you to have to go to in the
Hmm.
first place, right? But because there has to be someone who speaks to you and intervenes in on your behalf to drive a wedge because their whole thing has to go now. You got divorce court, you got child support, you got alimony, you got all of these things. Everybody's getting paid. Everybody in all these instances are getting paid now. So everybody eats off of your inability to be able to handle your affairs.
But you know what's deep is that even with all of that, right? what
Mm-hmm.
they're facing right now isn't even a court appointed judge, or you know what I'm saying? Like, they're facing the court of public opinion.
Right.
They're facing social media, because at the end of the day, whoever social media feels like won, that is going to be who they see as the winner. The craziest part about it, no matter who wins the judgment,
Right.
because what you're saying is absolutely true. The craziest part about it is that as it relates to all the mediation and all the lawyers that they're paying and everything like that, because of the fact that their relationship was so publicized, and now their divorce is so publicized, and everything with their children is so publicized, because like you said earlier, anything that's in the public face,
Right.
it's subjected to what everybody thinks. And I think a little bit, some people are projecting how they felt about what they went through onto
Right.
this situation also.
That's all they
Yeah,
do. Yeah. That's 99% of it. 1% of it is there, is the issue, but 99% is what they going through, or went through, or what they swear
that's the truth.
on their mama and on their hood that they would never go through, and blah blah blah. Couldn't
I'm
have been
telling
me.
you.
It couldn't be me. Isms over there.
And I'm gonna tell you this. I have a policy, right? I don't ever make no final judgment on nobody else's relationship.
Hmm.
Somebody could be telling you something today, right? Like, I'm gonna say this as a woman, we see this a lot, right? Your girlfriend could come to you and be like, "Girl, he said this to me, he did this to me," right? And then next thing you know, you back with them, right? But the
Right.
craziest part about it is that you know the reasons that you back with them. You know what reasons you got back with them, but your girlfriends are still pissed off because the only thing you told them is what you felt when you was mad.
Right.
And so then you're subjected to everybody's opinion in that case. What do your girlfriends think? What does your mama think now that she heard about it? Oh, he did this to my baby, blah, 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 blah. He said this to my child. And
Mm-hmm.
then you know what reasons that you're getting back with this person. You know what reasons. So for me, I personally don't make an outright judgment. I will never make an outright judgment about their relationship because I don't know what the ins and outs was. I know there was rumors of cheating. I know there was rumors of all this different type of stuff, right? But we don't know from the outside what the truth of their relationship is. And at the end of the day, only they know that. Only they know the reasons why they finally went ahead and filed for divorce. Only they know the reasons why all of this stuff is the case. So just as a general rule of thumb, even outside of them as celebrities, you know what I'm saying? But I think, like you said, what it comes down to is the fact that now you have come to the point where you need all this mediation and you need the judges and you need all of this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not going to lie, sometimes you do have to go into them situations where stuff is mediated because now stuff then got so bad. You know what I'm saying? It's best to have somebody there make sure stuff don't go left. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is that once stuff does get to that point, you know what I'm saying? It's one of those things, and you're right. It shouldn't have to go to the courts. It should be able to get dealt with. There should be an agreement that is, you know what I'm saying? We should be able to come to agreement. I actually absolutely agree with you. You know what I'm saying? But when I look at the state of things and I look at the way that we now relate to each other, you know what I'm saying? So, just looking at it like that and with that particular situation, you know what I'm saying? There's so many different sides to it and people are just kind of saying their opinions, but I think that there's so much more to it that we might not know. There's so much more to it as far as the communication between the lawyers, as far as whatever the final judgment was, as far as what the actual agreement was, because we're hearing this off the internet. This ain't necessarily rock solid as far as what actually happened. So I just wanted to bring that too before we close out because I know that was something that a lot of people have been talking about, and I really just kind of want to dig into that a little bit.
I know you're gonna do what you do over there. I don't care what
I'm gonna
man
do
you
what I
know.
do.
I
I'm
know
saying
what
this
you're
is
gonna
what I
do. You're
do.
gonna
You
do
know,
really that over there. I
yeah.
understand. Man.
Come on now.
Yes, yes. So yeah, I mean,
Absolutely.
being mindful, and I want to end on a high note. We kind of went through the shenanigans, but we started off on a
Okay.
high note, so I want to end on a high note. I just wanted to sift through the shenanology and the shenanism. You understand what I'm saying?
Come on
Being
now.
shenanigans. So now looking at the state of black family. You know, you said we were going to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. Okay, we went through the bad and the ugly. Let's look at the good and the rebuilding spaces that
Yeah.
become necessary in regards to the black family as the black family advocates that we are. You understand what I'm saying? What are some of the things that you see that are going well, and what are the things that we need to do in order to heal, order to grow, in order to elevate?
And I'm glad that you said that because I feel like black love or black relationships or the connection between black men and black women is never really hardly portrayed in a positive light. You know, you never see just couples that are happy, that's building together, that's building a family and everything like that. Everybody's always like, something bad's about to happen. I bet you he cheating on her. I bet you this, and that is happening. You know what I'm saying? But I love the fact that you brought it up like that because there is so much that people are working on, that we're working on as a people, that is helping us to come together to be able to build our relationships, to build our families. Um, right now, I'm working with the organization. This is my mom's organization, which is the Mothership Institute. And with that, okay, so you know, I am representing her teaching classes. We're teaching childbirth education classes and lactation classes and everything like that. It's a nonprofit organization, so a lot of these classes are free at this time. But we also are not just creating things for pregnant mothers because we are a birthing organization, but also working towards creating things for the families and Black families specifically, you know, Black and minority families to be able to help hold families together, because I think that as important as it is to be able to birth families, side by side with that is also important to be able to hold families together and to build families. And so with that being the case, you know, that really is something that we're working on being able to do. You know, one of my goals also is to work with my husband, and we are looking to really kind of build some things because we really want to be able to help a lot of Black men and Black women who may not be able to understand each other, because I can tell you this, a lot of the issues that Black men and Black women have is because of the fact that we speak in two different languages. What I mean by that is, even if you come through the oppression, even if you come through the pain, the trauma, and all that stuff, men and women digest things differently, understand things differently, and have a, a different way of perceiving things. You know what I'm saying? Masculine energy has the tendency to be more structured, to be more logical, to be more, logical and processing things and thought and everything like that. I believe that feminine energy, side by side with that, has a tendency to, of course, be more emotional, and also has the tendency to, you know, be able to kind of dig through the cracks of certain stuff because we may not look at stuff so logical. So, with those things being able to be put together, right, that's on a bigger scale. Now, if you want to look at what that looks like on a day to day, that might look like, I don't know why he's not telling me this, or I don't know why he's not picking up on what I'm saying. And the man might be like, I really want a sandwich. You know what I'm saying? Like, it might just be two different languages. Like, he might not even be thinking about that at all. And sometimes we as women have to be able to, okay, let me not just assume that he knows what I'm feeling. Let me actually communicate what I'm actually trying to say. And sometimes for men, they may have to be like, okay, first of all, I'm thinking about this right now, but let me tone it down so I can hear what she's saying and understand what she's saying. You know what I'm saying? So we both have to give in relationships to be able to understand each other. So something we really want to work on doing. And I think also being able to create those bridges and being able to help Black men and Black women understand each other, even if, you know, that means that we have to also say, yeah, this is under normal circumstances. Now, under the circumstances of these many years of oppression and everything, what does that look like? That looks like, as Black women, you know, one thing that we got to wipe down and get rid of is, you know, this whole stigmatism of the angry Black woman. We always feel like we have to be aggressive. We always feel like we have to be this. And then we're blaming it on men and saying, you're the reason why we're like this. Instead of saying, you know what? Whoever is accountable for it, but I am responsible for it, which means that I can say, this person hurt me, this person hurt me. But at the end of the day, once I become aware of it, I'm responsible for it. You know what I'm saying? The same on the male end of things. I might say, I don't trust women because of this. I might say, my mama did this to me. But at the end of the day, once you understand, yes, they are accountable. Yes, they did do this to you. But once you have an understanding of it, then you are responsible, because accountability means I know who did it. I know that it's their fault. They had to accept accountability, right? But responsibility means once I'm aware of it, now I have the responsibility to say, it might not be my fault, but I have to now be the one to make changes based upon it. So, as it relates to the building of Black families, I know we can do it. I know we can do it. Because at the end of the day, if you put your mind, your body, your heart, your spirit into it, and then you look at them babies' faces, you realize that they worth it. And you know what? Let's just pull this shit together, because they worth it. So, bars.
Bars. Okay. Thank you. Thank you from the deepest recesses of my soul today, okay? For coming on here and giving us a word and some words to
And
live
you
by.
already know.
You understand what I'm saying? You gave us some words to live by. You took your belt off a little bit and whooped our feet. You understand what I'm saying?
Oh, come on.
You know, got us together. Um,
Listen, I always appreciate being able to come on the show and being able to share with everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I always appreciate coming on here, and anytime, you know what I'm saying? If I'm able to jump in here, I'm definitely trying to do that, girl. So I'm definitely grateful.
all right, so what you say at the end of your video? I'm gonna leave my social media like I always do. Okay, so
Okay,
leave your
well,
social media and then
my
give us
social
a
media looks like
final
this.
word.
Um, You go on Instagram as Empress Eshe Obasi. You go on TikTok, Empress.Eshe.Obasi. Facebook, you can look me up at Empress Eshe Obasi. Pretty much anywhere that you put in Empress Eshe Obasi, my profile is going to pop up. So just go ahead and put it in. It's the same for YouTube as well. I am building up my channel, which means that I really would appreciate all y'all support. And guess what? I appreciate all the support that I have been getting, because I have been able to build up my viewership. I've been able to build up my engagement, and I'm so, so grateful. I also am working on some stuff with music as well, because me and my husband are working on some musical stuff as well. So we have Obasi. Yeah. So if you go on there and you put in Obasi, if you put in they call me Obasi in Instagram, it's gonna come up, because that's where we at. Okay, so we definitely Afro international around here. Yeah. So I got that also. So that's what my social media is looking like for right now.
That's what I'm talking about. There, right there, and the final word to the family. Wagwan. Okay, can we get a wagwan for the road? You know what I'm saying?
Wagwan.
So for the people
But
that's watching, one more final word for the road. Something fly, something deep, whatever you want to give us before you go.
a final word is that as Black people, we have had people that have been sitting on both sides of us looking to tear us apart, as Black families, as elders and young people, as all the different, things that you can think of, as Black people from here, and as Black people from the islands, and as Black people from Africa, and as Black people from Latin America. They have been trying to tear us apart from all angles, and they can only do that if you sit and let them. Because at the end of the day, your connection to your people, your connection to between us as man and woman, or your connection to us as connecting with our children, has to be stronger than anything they can put in your ear that can make you hate your people. And that's absolutely the truth.
Bars.
Bars. I don't know why that still make me laugh every time.
Shout out to Empress Eshe, okay, and my new voice. The platform is amazing. Like, share, subscribe, spread the word, spread the word, spread the word. She
I
is the
said
truth. TRUF over there. Okay?
FF.
TRUFAFFF. Crooked letter, crooked letter. Hump that, hump that. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your knowledge, wisdom, and
Absolutely.
understanding. Honest to you and your royal family. Love to y'all all, and y'all continue to thrive and prosper in this life and in the next.
I said.
I say, we out of here, y'all.
You said.
Peace.
Perverted, corrupted science. So that one time it was just the science of living and surviving here on this planet. Science of life.
You think cause you a star that you read it in my creation. I'm God Zodiac, I'm made from constellations. My brain is a bomb waiting to flame an abomination. No change in the bomber's nation, just some more dollars placed in the pockets of Satan. While I walk amongst the blind, explaining chakras to the cavemen. I'm locking from the grave, sending doctors to the shamans. Scientists ashamed they getting knowledge from the pagans. I'm in the bonnet with militant, philosophical, diligent builders aiming for spots in the lost nation. I mean the all in all, the cream of God hopped and rise to the occasion, surprised that we invading your time's finished, diminished. I'm live from the awakening. Cameras on tilt as I flex my success and fly. Look what I built, smooth just like silk in the groove. You might wilt if your lotus ain't focused and sewn just like a quilt from the needle to the record to the lace. And my behavior resembles the high savior. See my 2 fingers up, yelling peace to the gods, waving bye to the haters, standing on the black dot in the center of my square. In the middle of the circle, I designed the creator. Khalif the Khalifa when I speak through the speaker. Thoughts of a magician is lost in mysticism that reached the non-believer. I shine in your theater.
The clock was already moving before you saw the wheels turn.
IAK, you send it to MC for the record. Each song is a part that makes me. Signs of the time, the future I foresee. KAZOD, IAK, you send it to MC for the record. Each song is a part that makes me. Wheel of the spirit, the stars indeed. Who's better than this? Intelligentness. Clouds like I pass heaven and split. Killing cops, shaming treacherousness. You serve the devil, you're protecting the myth. Professional hitman, I spit excellence. I connect you to bliss. Grab this pebble from my hand and I let you exist. But if you don't, well, I spit a ghost spell. Get off my coattails. My coach is our God. I live it so well. The life of a G is high as can be. A soul model, what your role model aspires to be. True boss life. In order to lead, you need foresight. We came rich for PRT. We ain't poor, right? Error of the rich righteous. They fix the crisis of the terror of the mid-lifeless. The myth virus infecting the whole planet. Infected the globe with medic depressing. My soul answers the questions. I'm like Osiris flying in the gold-plated sky disc with no pilot. Kingdom of heaven, you can walk through my gate but speak certainty. Silence is a virtuous trait. I was more amazing, I ain't have to learn to be great. When every child is born, they ain't have to learn to create. It's when it feels rejected, that's when love turns into hate. God leap through a hole within space. Welcome to my dimension. When you think of the God, well, I'm the guy you mentioned. ZOD, IAK, you send it to MC for the record. Each song is the part that makes me. Signs of the time, future I foresee. KAZOD, IAK, you send it to MC for the record. Each song is the part that makes me. Wheel of the spirit, the star, the spirit, the star, the
You're not ready for that.
Wheel of the spirit, the star, the spirit, the star,
The dynamic of law is in that wheel. And discover that shit. You just ain't ready to take on that dimension.
We just really regurgitate
What the creator's already done. You probably still think we're in the age of Pisces.
But no matter how we try to spin it, it's the same wheel.
Che Black, straight like that.
You cannot go without this book, and let me explain why. Voices of the Diaspora, written by Knowledge Born Allah, takes you through countless and countless different blacks. From our scholars, our warriors, our great sisters, and even entrepreneurs. It speaks to the past, the present, and the future. There's even an action plan for us that are serious about businesses that we wanted to take on. Entrepreneurship is one of the first things that he speaks about. And if you're an avid reader, this is a 5-part series. So this is not only a great resource for ourselves, it's a great resource for us as parents. We can teach it and incorporate it into our lesson plans for our children.
Knowledge bomb. What's the science, baby?
Yeah. Now we gonna tell them. That in front. We tell them like this, yo. I'm an African. I'm a African. I'm a African. I'm a African. Yeah, y'all like that? No more. This man's mind is open. I'm a African. I'm a African. I'm a African. I'm a. Let's get
And
back
that
to
motive
the
is best developed by recognizing the common enemy.